Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the online judges course. Thanks to the Asian Gymnastics Federation for organizing this online education. The course we are starting today is parallel bars. Let me introduce today's speakers. Mr. Deepak Kabra comes from India. He is a member of Asian Gymnastics Federation Men's Technical Committee. He became an FIG International Category 2 judge in 2009 and participated in the 2015, 17, and 19 three times World Championships. Also, 2014, 2018, two times Youth Olympic Games and Asian Games. He is an excellent judge in the world. Let us welcome him to share his experience of parallel bars.
Thank you, Mr. Liping, for the introduction and your generous compliment. I feel really privileged on getting introduced by a former world champion on this very apparatus of parallel bars. So, hello everyone. Hope all of you are doing great. Let me take you all through my presentation. I'm going to present for judging on parallel bars. This is my quick introduction. Okay, we will be covering some interesting facts about parallel bars and the framework for judging that you must be aware. We will then focus on D-jury with some recent updates, clarifications, and new elements, followed by 5 practice exercises. And similarly, we would cover E-jury with recent clarifications and 5 practice exercises. So yeah, I found some interesting things on parallel bars. First is that parallel bars with 183 elements has the most number of elements listed in the code of points among all 6 apparatus. That's more elements to remember while judging parallel bars. Another interesting thing is that Asia and especially China has been dominant on this apparatus. Gymnasts from Asian countries have won 18 medals, including 9 golds at Olympics and World Championships in the last 12 years. This includes a clean sweep, means Asian countries winning all the medals, gold, silver and bronze 3 years in a row from 2008 to 2010 at the Olympics and Worlds. So that's really fascinating. This is a quick outline of the judging framework. Presently in force is the version 2 of the 2017 to 20 Code of Points, which was published in January 2018. This forms the base document for judging along with the subsequent newsletter, which are newsletter 34, 35 and 36 with clarifications and new elements. So here I have listed the provisions and new elements applicable for parallel bars, which obviously we will cover in more detail in the subsequent part of this presentation. Begin with the D-jury. Okay, we'll cover some recent rules and clarifications concerning the difficulty score. Yeah, so compression bandages. So newsletter 35, the FIG MTC clarified that compression bandages are not permitted during an exercise. Otherwise, attire violation will be triggered with a penalty of 0.3 on the final score. They did specify that sleeves may be worn on the biceps area for parallel bars, but defined 2 conditions for length and color. They said length may not extend more than halfway down the forearm and color has to be flesh or skin color, and this color requirement is only recommendatory in nature. So let's see some examples. Here the gymnast, if you see, the length is fine, it is less than halfway down the forearm, and the color is also fine. It's skin color, so no problem with it. But if you see the another example, length is fine again, but the color, if you see, it's black color, not the recommended color, but still we cannot deduct because this requirement for color is only recommendatory. So it can be just a simple warning to the gymnast that he has to wear a flesh or skin colored sleeve. Healy and Makuts with armband. So this is MTC newsletter number 35. They have specified that Healy and Makut type turns with an extreme armband that is greater than 90 degrees upon catching will not be recognized for value. This is very important, and pay attention all the D judges. Let's see some examples for this case. Yeah, so we'll see both examples, one for Healy and Makuts. Let's go for Healy. So yeah, if you see, yeah, so this has clearly more than 90 degrees of bend and hence no recognition. Let's see it again. If you see here, the arm bend, it's clearly more than 90 degrees, so no recognition. And Makuts. Here. Again. And here we see it's clearly more than 90 degrees, so no recognition in both cases. So a very common element performed by most of the gymnasts, but sometimes even the best of the gymnasts tend to miss it. So the MTC has come up with a clarification in the new code of points, draft 1, but there is no change. There is nothing new in this. It's just a clarification, so we can very well adopt it for the rest of this cycle as well. So the clarification says that tilt is a swing element and must be performed with continuous movement. The leg must rise upon regrabs to handstand position, and they lay out two conditions. First is that the rise has to be uninterrupted without dropping, and second is it has to be without visible use of strength. So dropping of legs or interruption in the upward movement or the use of strength can result in execution deductions, and if it is an extreme case, then a possible non-recognition. Let's see some examples for tipples. Please pay attention. Okay. Again in slow motion, you see the gymnast here. It's a complete interruption, in fact a sit on the apparatus, so no recognition for sure on tilt. Another example. So you see in slow motion, so there was a complete hit on the apparatus, so no recognition for this one as well. New elements. A total 5 new elements have been approved since the publication of the revised code of points in January 2018. These have been published in the newsletters. We will see all these 5 elements with videos in the next slide. I have compiled a video of the new elements from the FIG YouTube channel, so we can have a look at all the 5 new elements at once in this compilation. The first one is the GRS2. It's the 5/4 salto forward in pike position to hang. It was awarded the name GRS2 and given a value of C. It was performed first in the 2019 World Cup in Paris. You see the video again in slow motion. By the way, the straddle position for the same element is E value. Second is the Akubo, which is glide clip to straddle cut backward to long hang. This is from the Bhavsar family. Let's see the video. Yeah. So the gymnast got his name, Akubo, and this was given a C value. This was performed in the 2019 Hungary World Cup. And we see the video again in slow motion. Nice element. Third one is the Juarez, which is a basket with salto piked to upper arm hang, that is Tajeda in pike position. Yeah. So this was awarded the name Juarez and given an F value, and it was performed at the 2019 World Cup in Paris. The video again in slow motion. Yeah. Nice. Fourth one is the Esperanza. This is the Tanaka in pike position. Giant swing backward, half turn, salto to upper arm hang. Yeah, it's a beautiful element. Name awarded Esperanza. And given a G value, one letter higher than Tanaka, performed in 2018 Paris World Cup. The video again in slow motion. Yeah. The last one is the dismount, Dalalian. The double salto forward pike with half turn. Here is the video. So this element already existed in the code of points, but it was given the name Dalalian after he performed it for the first time in 2019, G value. The video again in slow motion. Yeah. Okay. Thanks to the FIG for putting up this compilation. So before we move on to the D jury practice, we should remember the special repetition rules on parallel bars. There are three rules. The first is that maximum one variation of the same salto element can within the same element group can be either tuck, pike or straddle. Only one. Second is the maximum two giant swings to handstand. Third one is maximum two basket swings to handstand. Yeah. And remember, if more elements are performed, then the highest difficulty value will be counted because this is a special repetition. Now we start with the practice. We'll have 5 routines and we judge D on those, and you get 90 seconds after each routine to calculate the score. This is just to ensure a condition similar to what will be in your exams whenever they will be. Okay, ready? We start with exercise number 1 for D jury. Go. Okay, you get 90 seconds to evaluate the routine. The timer is running on your screen. Thirty seconds remaining. Ten seconds. Yeah, time up. Here is the evaluation. This was fairly simple routine, only 10 elements, but one of it was a repetition, the handstand one at the 8th serial number. So a total of 9 elements counting, and with a D dismount, so whole full 2.0 in the element group, and the total D score is 4.4 with 3D, 3C, and 3A. I'm sure all of you got this. You can always go back to the video and see if you have any difference. Okay, so D jury exercise number 2. Pay attention, get ready, start. Okay, 90 seconds begins. Thirty seconds remaining. Ten seconds. Up. The evaluation for the exercise number 2. Most important thing you should see is the serial number 5. The heli, it was, as I showed in my presentation, an extreme arm bend more than 90 degrees, hence it is not recognized. Otherwise, it was a straightforward routine with a D score of 3.80, all EGRs included, including the D dismount. Total of 14 elements, but including the non-recognition repetition. Okay, good. Let's move on to the third exercise now. Ready? Pay attention. Start. Okay, time begins. 90 seconds. Seconds remain. Ten seconds. Time's up. Here is the evaluation of the third D jury exercise. So the quite straightforward routine and clean. Only thing to note here is that after the bhausa, the gymnast directly did a moe with straight legs. So most of the gymnasts do a glide clip after the bhausa, but he did a moe. So yeah, the judges have to be very focused and keep their eyes on the gymnast throughout the routine to catch those things. Yeah, otherwise a normal clear routine, the D score of 5.3, 1E, 4D, 2C and 3B. Okay, hope you got that right. Let's move on to the next exercise. Exercise number 4. Let's start. Okay, time starts, 90 seconds. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds only. Okay, time's up. Now let's see the evaluation. So this was a very tricky exercise, a long routine including a lot of repetition. So if you see, the gymnast have uh, performed 20 elements. So yeah, he tried for a basket on one rail to heli but missed it, and so hence he did a glide clip, which was a B class. But then this was the sixth element from element group 3, so we do not recognize this part. Because we follow the rule maximum 5 elements from one element group. And then the gymnast fell after the Tanaka, but the Tanaka was good. It can be very well given value. And then a lot of repetitions, and the tippelt, Healy, and finally the dismount, double salto backward pike. So here the gymnast gets the whole 2 points for element groups. He from the element group 2 we recognize 1A, that is why we give benefit to the gymnast and recognize the front up rise from element group 2 here. And the total D score is 5.7. So as I said, you can always go back to the exercise and check it again. I'm sure this one was a tricky routine, and many of you might have not got it right. Yeah, so that's why we have to be very careful and record each and every element for the routine. Okay, let's go for the final routine. Get ready. We go. Okay, time begins. 90 seconds. 30 seconds remain. Ten seconds. Time up. So we see now the evaluation of this exercise number 5. Again, this was a fairly straightforward routine, no problems at all. Very smooth, 16 elements, but only 10 elements we count. Difficulty values of 3.8, EGR 2, and the D score is 5.8 with 1F, 1E, 5D, 2C, and 1A. That was the difficult dismount F value, otherwise a normal routine. Okay, so that concludes our presentation on the D part. Now we begin with the E jury section on parallel bars. We'll cover some important rules and clarifications concerning the execution. Principles for deduction on bending, very important. The FIG MTC in their newsletter number 34 defined the principles for deduction on bending applicable on arms, legs and body. So the ideal position is the straight, 0 degrees of bend, no deduction for that. The slight deduction is defined as 0 to 45 degrees as shown in this diagram. And there will be a small error of 0.10. Strong bending is defined as 45 degrees to 90 degrees and it will be result in a medium error 0.30. And in case of an extreme bending greater than 90 degrees, there will be a large error and deduction of 0.50. So these principles are valid across all the apparatus, and the only exception is where specific deductions are specified. So example on parallel bar are the bending of the legs before horizontal during the swing action of a moe or giant swing element. So in that case, the deduction is limited to 0.1 and 3. So there we will not follow these principles, but the specific principles that apply. So here, as I was talking about, the specific deduction defined for moe and giant swing elements. So the legs may not bend until body is horizontal. Otherwise, there will be a deduction limited to 0.1 or 0.3. So the principle is not defined here to choose between a small and a medium error. But as an indicative measure, we can use up to 60 degrees. We can give it a 0.1 deduction. And in case the bend is more than 60 degrees, there will be a 0.3. So let's see a video. Okay, please pay attention. We will see a video with focus on bending of legs in moe and giant swings. Here you see the legs should be straight before horizontal level, which is okay. And after the horizontal level, it is okay to bend. So no deduction. Yeah, in this case, the gymnast is bending the legs before horizontal level and it is a small slight deduction. So we deduct 0.1. This was a moe, and then yeah, in this case there is a medium deduction of 0.3 since the bending is more than 60 degrees before horizontal level. Okay. So the forward uprise, very important, as specified in the code of points. The gymnast must show amplitude minimum horizontal in the front forward uprise. Let's see a video. These videos are from the presentation of the FIG Men's Technical Committee as available on the STS software. So here in this case, this is the perfect amplitude. But in the second, it was lower on amplitude, so a reduction of 0.1. Another example. So we have 0.1 reduction on amplitude. So this is minimum horizontal. If it is lower than horizontal, then a reduction of 0.10. Another important clarification that was issued in newsletter 34 was that a front uprise to L sit can also be deducted for lack of amplitude. It can be either 0.1 or 0.3. Let's see a video. Yeah, in this case, it is okay. And then L. Here you can clearly see it was not the amplitude required, so 0.1 reduction. And in this case, it's a medium error, 0.30. Hold elements. This is also very important for execution judging on parallel bars. Please note that only 3 elements on the parallel bars require to be held for 2 seconds. This is swing to handstand, L sit, and press to handstand. Note that the handstand, if followed with a half turn, and any other element that is ending in the handstand are not required to be held. In case any of these 3 elements are not held, then there will be a time reduction which can be either 0.3 for less than 2 seconds, or it may be 0.5 for a non-stop movement. So I would like to highlight your attention on these elements, the Healy and Makut type elements. As you can see in the diagram, these elements end in front support and not in handstand. And generally, these are followed by a swing to handstand. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, the swing to handstand is required to be held for 2 seconds. So please pay attention, especially after these elements. If it is a swing to handstand, then it has to be held for 2 seconds, otherwise there will be a time reduction. So now we begin with the practice for execution. So we will have 5 exercises and you will get 30 seconds after each routine to calculate the execution deductions, just to stimulate an exam-like condition. So yeah, we start now. So e-jury exercise number 1. Ready? Go. The 30 seconds timer begins. Calculate your deductions. Ten seconds remain. Time's up. Now we see the evaluation. The ideal deduction range should be 1.3 to 1.7. So let's see the exercise again with the deductions. We go. Important to see the time. Okay, so the total range is 1.3 to 1.7. Hope you got that right. Let's move on to the second. Go. Thirty seconds timer. Time up. Now we see the deduction range. Number 2, it's 1.2 to 1.6. Let's see the evaluation execution in the video with deductions. The total range is 1.2 to 1.6. Okay, so e-jury exercise number 3. Ready? Start. The 30 seconds timer. Get ready with your reductions. Ten seconds to go. Time's up. Reduction range for this routine is 3 to 3.50. Let's watch the video again with the reductions. Go. Here it is the range 3.0 to 3.50. So we move to exercise number 4, execution. Start. Okay, 30 seconds timer. Five seconds to go. Time's up. The evaluation of the exercise 1.3 to 1.7. This is the range. And now we see the routine again with the reductions, which is self-explanatory. Total range of 1.3 to 1.7. Okay, friends, last exercise. Ready? Go. This is a special routine. Okay, 30-second timer begins. Okay, now we see the evaluation of this last exercise. Reduction range should be 0.5 to 0.7. That was quite a clean routine with very little scope for reduction. I hope you got that right, and then we'll see the routine with the deductions again. Efficient. Magnet. Total reduction range is 0.5 to 0.7. By the way, this routine is the gold medal winning routine from the 2018 World Championships. No doubt he is a magnificent powerball parallel bar worker. So this concludes our execution presentation. So before concluding this presentation, I would like to give the credits to the FIG MTC judges' instructions, especially the ones for parallel bars, which is prepared by Julio Marcus, the MTC member at FIG. Also, these were made available at the STS Gymnastics Judging Interactive Program. And also a lot of videos are available on the FIG YouTube channel. So all these resources are very useful for judging, and thank you for making those available. So thank you all of you once again, and If you have any questions, comments, or if you need any clarifications, please don't hesitate to post in the comment section, or you can also write an email to me at kabradeepak7@gmail.com. So I conclude the presentation on the parallel bars in the AGU MAG Judges series. I hope you all like it. I now hand over it to Mr. Liping to see if you have any comments or any questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak. Bring us a very good speech and a lot of parallel bars experience. But I have two questions for you about parallel bars. One is a Healy with extreme arm band cannot be recognized as D value. Can it be downgraded and recognized as Healy to up arm hand like a B value?
Okay, yeah, so that is a very good question. So as I showed in my presentation today, Healy with an extreme arm bend is not recognized. But then the question is whether you recognize, downgrade it and recognize as a B. So I will say no, you cannot, because you see the intention of the gymnast. The gymnast did not intend that B value. So we will give it no value. It will not be recognized.
Okay.
So the answer is no.
Another question.
Okay.
What is deduction for swing to handstand without hold and back, no stop? Will it be 0.3 for layaway deduction or 0.5 for no hold deduction?
Okay. So yeah, this is another interesting situation. Gymnast going a swing to handstand but not holding. So there is a deduction for both hold and lie away. So the question is, which deduction should we apply? So I will give the benefit of the doubt to the gymnast, and we will deduct only 0.3 for the lie away. Yeah, no deduction for the not holding, only 0.3 for lie away.
Okay. I believe Asian judges will gain more knowledge points from you. Thank you again, Mr. Kabra.
Thank you also.
Bye, everybody.